Hi guys, I'm Jen Johns. Welcome back to the show. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and join me for weekly videos. Now, this week, I'm super excited to bring you a geode cake tutorial. If you are a Pinterest or a Facebook user, you probably saw this cake over the last couple of months, and I know that as soon as I saw it, I had to remake it. And it's turned out, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's one of my favorite cakes that I've ever made. I can't wait to show you guys how to put it together. So let's start this tutorial. To make the cake, we're going to be using an 8-inch round cake for the base and a 6-inch round cake for the top. Now, you could use any size of cake that you want to and any shape for this technique. Now, I'm also going to need a lot of clear piping gel, so we're going to need probably about half this container. We're also going to be using fondant. We've got two different colors here. I've got white and a sky blue fondant. Now for the rock candy, to give the crystal appearance, we're going to be using, this is string rock candy, and it's kind of like a larger size of crystal than the regular rock candy on a stick is. I've got a recipe on how to make your own rock candy on a stick if you're interested. Link will be in the description box. We're also going to be using edible gold leaf. This will be the first time we've used this on the channel, so I can't wait to show you guys how to use it. So the first thing we're going to be doing is working with our fondant. We're going to be marbling the fondant that's going on top of the cake. So I've just got these little pieces of fondant rolled out here. You just kind of want to squeeze them together as you're going to roll. So you want to roll it out like this. So I've got two pieces of white and one of blue, just to have more whitish. Like I want it to end up as a blue, a light blue there. So you can see I just switch that there. Cut it again and then, or sorry, twist it again and then start to roll again. And then do it again. Just keep doing it a bunch of times. Keep rolling it out, squeezing it together. And it's going to come up with like a unique, different pattern for every one that you do. So your top and your bottom will look slightly different, but that's kind of the cool part. And then remember to twist it. I just almost forgot that part there. Roll it. Just work and play with your fondant today. This is kind of a fun way to use it. As you guys know, I don't use a ton of fondant. I have been using a lot lately. And I'm starting to almost enjoy it. Don't say that. I'm not enjoying it yet. No, I am. So I'm rolling this out, continuing to twist. There we go. And I think it's almost ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is you'd have to decide whether or not you're going to cover your smaller cake first or your larger cake first. It's totally up to you. I'm going to work on the smaller one. So I'm just going to get it into a little bit of a circle to start off there. Taking my long rolling pin. And I'm just going to start to roll it out till it's a 14-inch circle in diameter. So I've got my cake here sitting on a glass bowl or a glass plate on top of my turntable, and you'll see underneath that it's sitting on a cardboard plate. We're going to need that for stability. I just wanted to point that out before I covered it in fondant and you couldn't see it anymore. So now I'm going to take my fondant and cover my cake here. And so what's nice about working with the little cakes is that you don't need a ton to roll out. Now I'm just getting it off of the mat here. Peel it gently off. It's going to come off, and it's that beautiful marbled look here. Looks awesome. So you'll do the exact same thing with the top layer as well. So I'm just kind of placing it like that, and then taking a fondant smoother, just go around the outside edges here, and just gently place it, just gently get it to touch to the sides, and then when you get all the way down to the bottom, you want to trim that off with a pizza cutter or a fondant knife. After you have both of the cakes covered in fondant, you need to take a sharpened dowel, and I'm going to put it into the cake. And why we're doing this is to give support. The cake is going to be quite heavy because of all of the type of cake I'm using, and I'm just using an edible writer here to mark the top where I want to cut it, right there. And so like I was saying, the cake is going to be heavy because it's quite dense, and it's also going to have a lot of rock candy on it. Once you've marked it, you can take it out, cut it with like either a saw or like a really sharp knife. I've already got some cut to size here, so I'm just going to poke them in, and I'm using 3, and I'm just putting them in kind of like a V shape here, or like a triangle actually. So poke those in, poke them down, and these will act as support. You can use straws for your support, but the wood dowels are a lot more sturdy, and for such a heavy cake they will work better for that. So then all you have to do is take your top tier, and I've just got it on a cake lifter here, and I'm just going to slide it off on top here, carefully moving it off, just like that. So I've drawn on the shape that I want my geode to be like. I found that it's like mostly, it's kind of like the best shape that it can be when it is almost like a pointed oval. So I'm going to take a knife, and I just use an edible writer for that. And what I'm going to do is just start carving the cake. So I want my deepest cuts to be down through the middle here. Now when you get to the cake board, you will feel it in there. And what you might have to use after you've carved the cake kind of around the cake or around that cake board there is you might have to use like an X-Acto knife or even a pair of scissors. So you're just going to carve away the cake here in this little hollow here, and we're going to make a really deep little spot for all the crystals to go. So now that we have the hole carved out here for the geode, we're going to take some buttercream, and I'm just put it in a piping bag, and I'm just going to put a thin layer all around here. This is going to be to help the geode crystals that we're going to use, the rock candies. It's going to help it stick. If you happen to not work fast enough to have the buttercream stick, like the rock candy sticking to your buttercream, that's where we're going to bring in the piping gel. So I'm just going to finish covering this off. So for ease of use, I've got the piping gel in a piping bag here, and you could also just use a like a paintbrush if you want to, but I'm just going to put it in there. The first color we're going to work with is the darkest blue, and I'm just going to work from the inside out. So I'm just doing the darkest color first here. And what I did was I just broke open all of my rock candies, and I just like snapped them in half and crunched them up, and then you get all these nice little crystal pieces here. You want to put aside some of the larger pieces like from the top, and we're going to use that later on. Piping gel is like the stickiest stuff known to man, and pretty much anything's going to stick to this. It's awesome for projects like this. So I'm just going to build up the inside here with the darkest blue. So now we're going to move on to the second darkest blue color. So I guess the next lightest blue. These chunks are a little bit bigger, so they're kind of easier to hold. Now what I did was I already put on the piping gel that time, and I'm just working away. And if you see that I've kind of deliberately tried to make the dark blue jagged around the outside, or like I didn't want to have it be uniform because I wanted it to look more natural. And I found that when I was practicing, if you lined up all of the rocks like in a single line, it does not look natural at all. So you want to keep that in mind and make sure it's like kind of jagged. So now I'm going to go around with this next color of blue. Now we're moving on to our lightest shade of blue here, and it starts to become a bit like putting a puzzle together. You want to find the pieces that are going to fit in those gaps that you've got. And so what I'm trying to do is build as much of this light blue around the outside. I want to leave a little bit of space for the white, and then we're going to be putting the gold leaf around the very outside right on, directly onto the fondant. So I'm just going to go around with this light blue rock candy now. So now I'm putting the clear rock crystals here, the rock candy, along the edge of the cake here, and I'm just pressing it into that spot. Now I want to make sure that I've got enough of the candy here that I'm putting it, kind of bumping it up against the fondant here. I'm going to put the gold leaf right along the edge here, and then afterwards, after we've got the gold leaf on, I'm going to come back and put another layer of the clear crystal so it kind of overlaps the gold leaf so it looks more natural. So I've got the gold leaf out here now. When it comes to you, it comes in little sheets like this, and it comes like in a little booklet. I just like to keep it covered. It's easiest that it sticks to absolutely everything. It flies away. I haven't put it on while I've been talking yet either, so I'm a little bit worried that something's going to happen to it while I'm talking. So what I did here was just sliced the little gold leaf into little slices here. I'm just going to get my tweezers, and I'm not kidding, it sticks to every single thing. And so I'm just trying to peel that off like that so it sticks to the tissue. If it breaks, it doesn't matter because what we're doing is very casual. So can you see? You're getting an example of it sticks to everything. We don't need that part. So what I'm going to do now is take my paintbrush, and I'm just putting a little bit of water onto the brush here, and I'm going to put the water onto the cake and right where I want the gold leaf to go. So I'm just putting a little bit of water. The water is going to help the gold leaf stick. So now I'm going to take that piece that I had here, and I'm going to lift it up, and I'm just going to transfer it to that area where the water is, like that, and just press it on like that. Now, once you've got it on there, you take a makeup brush, you can dab it on there like that, and you can also take your paintbrush, and you can kind of like frill the edges and give it a little bit more like dimension to it so it's not so strict. That piece looks pretty good. We'll go on with the other pieces going all the way around the outside of the cake. So I'll just keep going. Now that I've finished off the gold leaf, we're going to finish off the geode here by placing those extra white crystals or the clear crystals on top here, just making sure that it's meeting up from the ones that we had inside and that they're meeting up with that gold leaf on the edge. So I'm going to go around and just finish this layer off. So I'm adding a border here between my two cake layers, and I'm just starting with the darkest colors at the bottom, and then I'm moving up the lighter blues up towards the top, just like I did on the inside of the geode. And what I really like about this part is that you can be like as precise as you want, or you can be totally random. I'm just using the gel paste to get the piping gel to get that to stick like that. And so I'm just going to go around the top here, and I'm also going to do the same on the bottom where the cake meets the cake board. So our final step for the cake, once we are finished the border, is to take our large chunks of rock candy, the rock candy on a string, and interplace them with some of these pieces of the other rock candy, the rock candy on the stick, and just kind of like change up with the color, little bit of a difference there. So just arrange it so it's really nice on top here. Now I got all of the candy on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description box too where you can get it yourself. Now if you are having a little bit of trouble with these guys sticking, you can always use piping gel to have them stay there. And I'm going to finish off the top and then be ready to show you guys the finished product. So there you go, everybody, the completed geode cake. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I absolutely love this cake, and like I said in the beginning, it's one of my new favorite ones. It's one of the most favorite ones that I've ever made. I love the way that the inside is just that dark, deep hollow in there, and it's completed around the outside with this border of the rock candy and the big giant chunks on top. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys all again next time.